It's Arukh HaShulchan Yardeh Siman Lamates Sif Ayin Dalit Ayin Zayin. The supplemental day 277 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi cycle. Ayin Dal. Yeshishar, those who say the Zeshis Bar, that which we said, the Migava Moelas, said on the back of the lung, it's effective Kshanisachal Basar when it's adheres to the flesh, Ula Etzem, and the bone. Yeshov Sichal Basar, most of the adhesion is to the flesh. Zedaf Kshem Mixas Sarchal Etzem, it's when the only when the part of the sircha which adheres to the bone, Sorach Akopaim Letzem, is adhering to the bone. I'm a mixer ship connected to etzem, but if the part which is opposite the bone, pohud, is separate, totally, it's dangling. Samuch le'etzem, adjacent to the bone, ein lachshir, can't be machshir. The zeshir shayim mitzvos le'etzem, that would say it's kosher when part of it goes to the bone. Ha'ikshir bone mitzvos le'etzem, it's when that part is clinking to the bone. The yesh kontakte devusa. There's a double positive here. So you have a double whammy negative. Here's a double whammy positive. Maybe it'll be fortified also by the bone. And we're going to say it's going to be separated. Maybe it's enough that it's connected in the flesh. If it's not connected to the bone, we can't permit it. The entire adhesion is opposite the flesh, and part of it, even the minority, tluya basar, is dangling opposite the flesh. Vein dvuka basar, it's not connected to the flesh. The treif, it's treif near me, zed lab devek tovu. So he says it's not a good connection. So this eventually is going to break off. That's the simcha chadasha. Yesh chokim say those who argue and say the adar, the contrary. Yesh chokim can say the mokom hanekev, that place where there's a whole asircha dvuka betov. There, the sircha is well connected, and that's enough. Totally in the minority which is dangling, and is only the spread of the sircha out beyond the hole. Look, if that's not the case, also in the sircha from a lobe to a lobe, because sidron, when it's in order, which you say of course is okay. No, let's also say the imik part of his dangling is treifa. We don't see it any posting that partial dangling between adjacent lobes is a problem. But the contrary, it seems the opposite. But by flesh and bone, we certainly have to be concerned because the bone doesn't really connect well. There's a concern. Maybe by the bone is the primary part of the sircha, as opposed to where the entirety is opposite the flesh. Hey, V'day, you should know the Rambam, because I picked it up the Zayin. The Rambam writes in Makom Revisa, the place where this is normal to find, Mikra Ben Basar, Shemen Asos, whether it's the opposite the flesh between the ribs, Ben Basar, because or the flesh in the chest, Ayin Sham. Avakol Paskin Lokos Kain. None of the poskim wrote that way. The basar b'shabos according to them, the flesh in the chest ain't a makom revisa. It's not it's natural for it to rejuvenate. Treif and treif. However, a fat animal, where the fat of the chest comes down below, and the fat is dangling on the ribs. That's like the ribs themselves. Yesir Megabel, and there's a sircha from the back of the lung, Lashamnunis, Hachazet to the fat of the chest, Hatoli Atlos, which is dangling over the ribs, Kishera, that's kosher, it's the name of the Itor. Ayin Vav, Yeshu, and some say the Shleitzos Aktanim Rishayim Sadarosh, the two small ribs towards the head, Hanitan Imachazeh Lekoin, which is given together with the chest to the Kohen, who gets the chaz of a shok from the korban, not called the ribs. And when there's a sircha from the back of the lung to the flesh between these two ribs, treifa, it's treif, that's Lagos Maimoni. Uveshuta Rashba, Sim Aidal, Verokach, Sim Shimpav Kasim, Shesh Machlekes, they say it's a dispute. They go actually a Kasim say it's kosher and sham. Uverocha Babema. in the width of the animal. Arukh meaning its height. Mikra Dovin is called the ribs up to the point where the string of chalev, I guess, which you remove from the chest. From the top of the spine, to this point, mikre doifen. That's called all the wall of the ribcage. Chut ve'echem, from this line, this string, this line, and beyond mikre chazeh. This is called the chest. V'in yisrael sham treifa. If there's a sircha there, it's treifa. Yisrael gabe achut. If it's the sirchas on this the string of, again, I assume it's fat. Dina Yisrael, because of a treifa, it's also as if the sircha is to the chest, not to the ribs, and it's treifa. All the parts agree to this. Even though the sircha is on a lobe, if it's on an angle, the second part of the sircha, Magila Doifen Shekeneged Uma, reaches to the wall of the ribcage opposite an Uma, it's treifa. The Kevach Kotza Acher, since the other part, and the part which is the opposite the Uma, who Makam Rach was in a broad space, opposed to the narrow confines of the upper rib cage. A lot of reasons knew it's not a normal pattern of growth of the unos, which is good to heal. If the sircha goes up to the wall on the side of the una, and also the wall on the side of the uma, hochin acharov, we go after the majority. Base. If the sircha emerges in the cuts between the unos, even though it is adhering to the opposite wall, treifa. Between the cuts is considered to be like the front of the lung, where it's not considered to be the adhering doesn't affect. It's not effective. Not like the back of the lung. It says all these levels where the sircha comes out of the back of the unos, not from the back of the umos. So same there, in that case the wall does not close up. As we saw in Sifhei Ayin. The sircha and a sircha which is in the back of the uma, that's not effective unless there's a wound in the rib cage, as we shall see. But that is not for a while. That's it for today.